Hi, ladies. Welcome, welcome. The most important thing I want you to remember from this video is white mailbox. All fittings take place in my home studio. This is where I am right now. Think of it as a she shed situation, okay? Is the best way to describe it. The studio is off of a major road. You cannot see it from the road. I got a long driveway, and the neighbor's driveway right next to mine looks so similar, and it is so close to mine, especially on the 45-mile-per-hour road. It's going to be hard to find. I hear that all the time. I am sorry. It is difficult to find, but look for the white mailbox on the west side of the street. White mailbox. The biggest mistake I see when trying to find the studio is not telling your friends and family that are driving separate. Okay, so the brides yourselves, you typically can find the studio just fine. It's your mom or your sister, your cousin that is driving separate. You just text her the address and she doesn't know all of this other information. So text her the address and say, look for the white mailbox. It is very important. So that's the biggest mistake, is not communicating that to other people. My neighbors are very, very nice, but as with everyone, we love our privacy. So you can find the specific address in your confirmation emails. I am not going to share that on this video for obvious safety reasons. I don't want it blasted all over the internet, but I beg you, when you come to the studio, just look for the white mailbox off of the major road. Thank you so much for helping keep everything running so smoothly. Please try very hard to be on time to your appointments, but if you are running late, I realize things happen. Please just keep driving, okay? You don't need to call us and tell us that you're going to be 5 minutes late. No problem. I try really hard to accommodate everyone that is late. It will just cut into your overall appointment time, unfortunately. So just please try your best to be on time. If you are early, you can come on in and use the bathroom or grab a drink and a snack. Also, what often happens is your mom might drive separate. Your mom has the dress, but she's running a half hour late. That is a big problem. So just try to make sure that you and your dress and your shoes are all arriving on time. Now that I got that very important part of this video all squared away, white mailbox, try really hard to be on time. Hello, I am Sarah Colas, and welcome to Bridal Alterations FAQ. So it sounds like you already booked your alterations fitting, which is great. If you have not, or you just have questions in general, email is the best, okay? It is hello@sarahcolas.com. We respond to emails very quickly, but please try and be patient with us. 48 hours is phenomenal. We actually respond much quicker than that, though, typically, even within an hour. Abby, who helps with the emails, she is very quick and she is great. If you are getting ready for your first fitting or wondering what to expect, this video is going to walk you through everything that you need to know before coming to the studio. First and foremost, I am Sarah Colas. I am a couture bridal designer and alteration specialist, and I work one-on-one with brides to ensure their gown fits beautifully and feels just right for their wedding day. Every dress and bride is so different, so everything I do is customized specifically for you. You know what else? I want to mention this video might look very long, and you're like, I'm not going to sit through this whole thing. I'm kind of estimating that the part that you actually need to listen to is like halfway through this video. I'm going to plug in a podcast of FAQs that I get in the studio on the second half of this video. So just like bear with me and I will tell you when you can sign off if you would like to end it early. Back to instructions. White mailbox, okay. Friends and family are always welcome to attend fittings. We just ask that you arrive in no more than 2 cars as parking is limited. I really only have one bride at a time, usually, unless someone's running late, someone's running early. I kind of do this shuffle. But what typically happens is I have like brides kind of passing each other. So I have parking spots for the first bride and the second bride, but it just gets to be a lot. So just try to avoid parking with too many cars here if you can avoid it. If not, don't stress about it. We will have the space. We will make it work. No problem. And when you drive into the driveway, just know that yes, you can park up at the top area of the driveway right near the studio door. And in fact, that is preferred. So I want you to come up the driveway, come on up, park right up next to the studio door. That way, if it's like raining or if I'm helping you like take your dress to your car, various things, it's just quick and easy. Something I just want everyone to know, the bridal industry is extremely seasonal. Winter weddings are totally underrated as all vendors like me are extremely slow in the winter, and we can spend lots and lots of time with you, kind of do as many fittings as you want, not a big deal. But any other time of the year, especially June and the fall brides, just know that the studio is very busy. I am very busy. It is really hard to reschedule appointments last minute, add on additional fittings last minute. So please try to be mindful of that. And please just show up and be on time for your fittings, and we will try our best to accommodate all of your needs. Just know that when we get really busy, just please bear with us and try to be kind to us while the studio is busy and bustling. And if you're having any issues at all, please just tell me. I don't read minds. I try to, but first and foremost, just communicate with me if you're having questions about anything. We're always trying our best to make sure every woman that walks into the studio feels loved and heard and cared for, because we really, really, really do care about you. Which leads me to a conversation I want to have with you about the second fitting. Typically, 9 out of 10 of the brides that I work with for alterations, you only need 2 fittings. So you take your gown home at the second fitting, which is suggested to be the week or 2 before your wedding. However, if you come for your second fitting and you try on your dress, which you're going to do, and you want any further tweaks done to your dress beyond what we've already done, no problem. First and foremost, beyond anything you ever hear me say, at the end of the day, I just want you to feel very good in your gown. Okay. Again, communication. You just need to communicate with me. I am an open book. Let's talk. What are you feeling insecure about? What isn't feeling right to you? What is making you uncomfortable? I want to know. But again, 9 out of 10 of the times, it's going to be great and you'll take it home that day. But if you're having any concerns, please, please be vocal in person here if you're concerned about anything, and we can talk about it. Something I prefer not to happen is for you to take your gown home that day, you try it on again at home, often that night, I'm not sure why, and then you find something wrong with it and you want to come back into the studio to have me fix it, which I am totally willing to do. But I want to try to avoid that. What I would really like to happen is for you to speak up at your actual fitting, so that way I can tweak it and we only need 1 more fitting. But if you take your dress home, realize something's wrong, then I need you to come in, which is an additional fitting, and then I need you to come back to pick it up another day. So that's 2 fittings that could have been avoided and we could have just had 1. And having those additional 2 emergency fittings, which usually the bride is like freaking out and wants to come in like right now, it's really, really hard to accommodate that during the busy season. So I'm just begging you to please speak up at your actual second fitting if you're having any issues at all. That is the best time to talk about it. But again, at the end of the day, all I care about is that you feel good in your gown. So if you need to take it home, try it on again and come back, like so be it. I will be happy to help you in any way. Just remember, I do not bite. Please just communicate with me. Please, please, please tell me how you are feeling. I really, truly just want you to feel beautiful and loved and cared for. Most likely, if you're watching this video, you have already booked your first bridal alterations fitting, which is great. Good job. If you haven't already, please go ahead and schedule your second fitting or your pickup appointment as well. We recommend this to be a week or 2 before your wedding. So you're going to go in same way you did before and book your second bridal fitting. Now, if you're booking your fitting super early, like your wedding is not for like 4 months or beyond, you might not be able to physically book your second fitting yet. You might have to wait like a month and then go in and book your second fitting, because our calendar opens up 4 months in advance. But booking early helps ensure you're getting the timing that you want. Okay, moving on. What to bring to your fitting. This part is really important. Please bring these items with you to your fitting: your wedding dress, your veil, and your shoes. Your wedding dress and your shoes are top most important things. If you do not have both your wedding dress and your shoes, and your appointment is next week, then please reschedule. I would so much rather do a rush job than for you to come in with your wedding dress without your shoes. If you don't have your shoes, I cannot alter your dress yet. So please reschedule your appointment. So if you just booked your bridal alterations fitting and you do not have your shoes yet, I want you today to go online or in person and buy your wedding shoes today. Okay, so they can come in. Sometimes they come in and you want to do like a half size up, or you don't really like them, so you want to reorder. You want to have time to be able to do those things before you come in for your alterations fitting. However, if your wedding is coming up super, super close and you're like, girl, I do not have my shoes yet, I'm wearing flats, like, can I still come for my alterations fitting? Yeah, just come. I mean, there's exceptions for pretty much everything, but just please, 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 please try to have your wedding dress and your shoes. Your veil is great too, just to keep everything together so that doesn't get lost. And we just like try it on for fun sometimes. And, or I can steam your veil for the next fitting. So it's great to have all those things. Any particular undergarments, if you want to wear them, please bring those along as well. You might be wondering, What is my favorite Spanx brand or my favorite Spanx recommendation? This might shock you, but I am a little anti-Spanx. I do not like Spanx with wedding dresses. I don't know if I've ever seen a situation where the Spanx looked better, in my opinion, than no Spanx at all. I think the Spanx industry does a really good job of making you think that you need them, but I see them cause more problems than they actually help. So I kind of prefer if you don't have Spanx. But if you really want to wear them, no problem. I am team bride, whatever you want to do. But I do see a lot of brides tend to like the Honey Love and the Skims brand Boom Buzz. You may have heard of Boom Buzz. You may have heard me talking about Boom Buzz. Those are sticky cups that are sticky on both sides, helps with pushing your chest up into the dress and like fills it out a little bit more at that neckline, especially if you have a gappy neckline. The Boom Buzz are great. The Boom Buzz are only great on corset style dresses. If you have a even slightly loose fitting dress, intentionally loose fitting due to the style, I do not recommend Boom Buzz. But if you want to get Boom Buzz before your alterations fitting, I do have a coupon code SarahColas10 for 10% off. Another product I really like undergarments wise is if you have a very slinky dress or you have a very hip hugging tight crepe dress, whatever it is where you can't really wear normal underwear without it showing lines, I recommend this Shark Tank product called Stringies, Stringiys. They are fantastic. You do not need them for your fitting, but you can look them up and have them ready for your wedding day. Okay, let's just talk about timing for a second. Bridal alterations typically begin with a first fitting 5 to 8 weeks before your wedding date. And our calendar opens up 4 months out. Your first fitting is where you bring the dress in, we evaluate your gown, discuss your vision, go over all the recommended alterations. We kind of go back and forth about what you're envisioning, what you're comfortable with, and what my recommendations are. And then we decide together the best course of action. At that point, I will give you exact pricing and I will go ahead and get started on sewing your dress. So I will hold on to your dress at that point and work on it, and then you'll pick it up at your second fitting, like what we already talked about. We do offer a consultation option that you can bring your dress in much sooner than the 5 to 8 weeks before your wedding date for us to evaluate your gown, go over all of the questions that you might have, and come up with pricing for you. So it's kind of like a mock first fitting, just to be able to ease your nerves and come up with a game plan together. But that is super, super optional. I do not need you to do a consultation. The consultation is for you, and it's an option there in case you want it, but it is not required whatsoever. Something that I'm always talking about a lot in person is the preservation kits. It is something I offer. Actually, it happens to be right on the floor here. This is what the kit looks like. This you could buy from me. It is a completely optional service. It is for cleaning your wedding dress after the wedding. It's hard to believe, but there is a life that exists beyond your wedding. And this would be the one thing you'd want to do like the week after your wedding is to take this preservation kit home. It is a box that you assemble at home. You throw your dress in there after the wedding and you ship it off with FedEx. And then this company will completely clean it, box it up nicely for you, and ship it right back to you. I am extremely biased, but I cannot recommend this enough. You want to get those stains treated as soon as possible after your wedding. To be honest, this is a really good price compared to the local dry cleaners. You can also buy it at sarahcolas.com after your wedding. It's also a great bridal shower gift, by the way, if you have a friend that's getting married coming up. Okay, pricing information. So hard to say. Every dress and every gown and every bride is so different. The pricing is completely custom based off of the individual alteration services that you are needing for your dress. No two gowns are ever the same. I charge per individual service. I will go over everything in detail with you during your first fitting once I see the gown on you. I cannot give pricing over email or phone. I can only give pricing in person. But I will give you all of the pricing at the first fitting, very transparent, but the payment is not due until the second fitting. And at the second fitting, you can pay with cash, check, or Zelle, no fees. I do cards with a 3% fee. Doesn't matter what kind of card it is a 3% fee. Just some other services that I offer, the vintage redesign service. If you're following me on Instagram, you've probably seen this, where I take your mom's gown, your grandma's gown, and turn it into the most beautiful late night dress, rehearsal dinner dress, getting ready robe, baptismal gown, Christmas tree skirt, and so much more. I do have individual fitting appointments available for that service, but you can also just bring that gown into your bridal alterations fitting if you would like as well. So you can bring in your wedding dress to have that altered, but also just bring in your mom's dress if you're even slightly considering doing something with it, and we can just chat through it. No obligation. Each vintage redesign is completely custom and handled with the utmost care. We'll discuss what's possible, preserve what matters most, and reimagine the gown in a way that honors the history while fitting your personal style. I truly, truly love this service so much, to take vintage dresses or secondhand dresses and just recreating them and getting another use out of them. I think it's amazing for so many reasons. We just got an embroidery machine in 2025 and offer lots of semi-custom products like the popular garment bags with your name and wedding date on them. Here are some examples I'm showing you so you can get your name and wedding date on them. These have been very popular. You could do your first name, first name, new last name, old last name, Mrs. whoever, bride, or your monogram. These are also really fun for a gift for the mother of the bride, bridesmaid gifts, groomsmen gifts. I have black versions of these. I think it's a fantastic groomsman gift. As with all the embroideries, you can choose whatever thread color you want. And the garment bags specifically, they're all the same price, but if your gown is like a ball gown style gown, I will give you our biggest bag. If you have a more slim dress, I'm gonna give you a smaller bag. So I will base the size of the garment bag based off of the type of dress that you have. We also do these bachelorette party sashes. These are super fun. You could have it say Mrs. whoever. It could be birthday sashes. They're really kind of fun. And you can choose whatever you want to say, whatever color, whatever, anything. A lot of this type of stuff that we do with embroidery, these semi-custom products, they're actually made from old wedding dresses. I've had wedding dresses donated to me throughout the years, and I just use the dresses as scrap fabric, and it's amazing. It's just very fun in multiple ways. Here's some examples of some of these cute little embroidered purses that we do. Again, any color, any style that you want, whatever you want to say. An embroidered scrunchie, those are kind of fun. These could be really fun bridesmaid gifts as well, or just a gift for a bride. Like if you're a bride coming in here for your bridal alterations fitting, you might have a friend who's also engaged, and you can order these things in the moment in person. So all of these products you can order in person with me. It's so much easier to chat through it in person, but it's also available on the website, saracolas.com. If you look on the website, you can see all of the semi-custom embroidery products that we offer. I don't get too much into custom embroideries. However, if you're coming for your bridal alterations fitting and you have this thing that you want me to put an embroidery on, bring that with you and we can talk about it. That is the easiest, quickest, most efficient way to talk about it, is in person. You know what? Something I also do that's really kind of fun, and it's really good timing for your bridal alterations appointment. If you bring in all of the robes or pajamas or whatever they are that your bridesmaids are getting ready in, we can embroider their name on all of them. So that would be really great if you could organize getting that done before your fitting. Here's some more ring bearer pillow, whatever you want it to look like. Little ties for bridesmaid bags with their initials on it. Not embroidery related, but I do offer these. These have been really popular this past year. A scrunchie and or a holiday ornament made from the extra fabric cut off from the bottom of your wedding dress. So if you're getting your wedding dress hemmed, well, you're going to have extra fabric and we can make these little items for you. The ornament is really fun because you have this little year charm on there as well. Okay, moving on. So the private luxe appointment, this is for brides looking for a more elevated and private experience. It is an extended one-on-one appointment designed for brides who want additional time, privacy, personal attention, whether you're exploring alterations, custom design options, vintage redesigns, or specialty details. The private luxe appointment is ideal if you're traveling in, working with a complex gown, or simply want a calm, unrushed experience in the studio. Certainly not required. This is super, super optional, just like another option for a VIP experience. So if you have booked your bridal alterations fitting and you want to upgrade to that type of experience, just send us an email and we'll give you all the information on how to do that. These appointments are limited and must be booked separately through the website. In addition to standard alterations, we also offer a variety of custom add-on services for brides who want something extra or more personalized. So we're talking about embroidery, gown enhancement, veil embroideries, custom veils. We do a lot of custom veils. Those are awesome. And other specialty services. Since every dress and vision is so unique, these options are always discussed on a case-by-case basis. If you have questions on these things before your fitting, great. You can email us or you can just talk about everything and anything you ever dreamed of at your fitting. If you're curious about what's possible, you can also explore the website. There is so much information on the website, and especially the shop page if you're looking at all those add-ons. We can talk through whatever makes sense for you and your gown during your fitting, but you can also just browse the website in advance. For brides looking for a little bit extra peace of mind on your actual wedding day, I offer what I call the day of bridal styling services. So these services include professional steaming, bustling, last-minute adjustments, and styling support, ensuring your gown looks flawless from ceremony to reception. We offer different levels of packages, essentially like how much time I'm going to be there. So whether you're wearing a custom couture gown, an altered dress, vintage redesign, day of services help everything stay in place and photo ready on your wedding day. If you are interested in that, please let us know as soon as possible. I don't even want to pressure you to book, but if you're like slightly interested, I really kind of just want to block it off on my calendar, even just as the potential. Just please start the conversation sooner than later. hello@sarahcolas.com. Shoot us an email letting us know that you're interested, and we can do just a quick temporary hold on that. But especially if you're having a fall wedding when it's super, super, super busy, let us know ASAP. And also, especially if you're having a Friday wedding, because we do fitting appointments Monday through Friday. If you have a Friday wedding, I need to block that off 4 months in advance. So super important that you get a hold of us as soon as possible to make sure I can ensure availability. However, I'm also all for booking a last minute day of styling service if I'm available. Last year I had someone book 2 weeks out, and I am so welcome to that, but it's not always the case that I'm available. So if we want to guarantee availability, just let us know sooner than later. Let's see, if you still got a while until your wedding and you're looking for a really awesome, thorough wedding planning guide, I have one called the Aisle Style Wedding Planning Guide. It is on the shop page of the website. In addition to alterations and vintage redesigns, I also create custom couture wedding dresses. These gowns are designed and made from scratch for brides looking for something truly one of a kind, from the silhouette and structure to the fabrics and finishing details. Custom couture is a collaborative, highly personalized process that allows us to design a gown that reflects your style, body, and vision from start to finish. Because of the time craftsmanship and planning involved, these projects are very limited each year. We do maximum 5 every year. So let's begin with a conversation. Just email us letting us know that you're interested. You could be a bride looking for a dress for your wedding day or any other day in your engagement journey, or your mom's mother of the bride or mother of the groom dress. I do a lot of those as well. I have a podcast. It is called Dressing Up with Sarah Colas. So you can start listening to that if you're interested. There's a lot of wedding content on there. I also like to interview brides that we have previously worked with on the podcast, also industry experts and just general wonderful fashionistas. So let us know if you would like to be on the podcast. You can even tell me in person, like, hey, I listen to your podcast. I'm interested in being on it after my wedding. And I'm going to make sure I jot you down on the list of people I really want to contact when we do our next episode. You may see these Colas magazines lingering around the studio. These are free. You can take these home. You can also buy them through the shop page, but if you're here in the studio, these are free. Just take them. I like to put them by the door, but also you might see them sprinkled elsewhere. So help yourself. Thank you so much for watching and spending a little bit of time with me today. I'm really looking forward to our fitting appointment coming up. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to email us. If you're really wanting to talk to me on the phone, I am all for it. But listen, I practically work 24/7. I don't always have the time to answer my phone. So in that case, what you'll do is go to the website and go to like the contact or inquiry page, whatever it is, and look for the phone call section, and you can book a time slot to have a phone call with me so I can make sure that I have dedicated time to talk to you and only you. Because if I'm in here in a fitting appointment with a bride, I really am not going to step out of her fitting to answer a random phone call. So I just ask that we schedule those in advance. But otherwise, I'm more than willing to talk on the phone as well. Often, though, we can respond to emails quicker than I could ever call you back. If you have any questions, need help deciding what appointment type is right for you, or you want to learn more about our services we talked about today, you can always find more information on the website. And again, email. I'm going to ask that you try not to Instagram DM us, though. We get a lot of DMs and I can't always respond to them quickly. Sometimes I'm weeks late. So I greatly encourage email. Well, I can't wait to welcome you into the studio and help you feel confident, comfortable, and completely yourself on your wedding day. Be sure to explore the website for booking details, resources, inspiration, and we'll see you soon at the studio. Thank you so much. Okay, so now this is where I'm welcoming you to stop listening if you're feeling bored. But I'm going to have a second segment to this video, which includes basically a podcast episode that I actually also recorded today, just about some frequently asked questions that I get while in the studio. And they're kind of like just for fun questions. It's not stuff you really need to know, just about like how the studio came to be and how did I learn how to sew and stuff like that. So if you want to stay on, I welcome you to do that. And I'm going to get started with that podcast right here, right now. Hi there, I am Sarah Colas. Welcome to the Dressing Up podcast, where we talk about all things bridal, dresses, and general dressing up topics. I love to encourage women to dress up while expressing their personal style with confidence on how to do so. Visit sarahcolas.com to book a bridal alterations fitting or even inquire about designing the custom couture bridal gown of your dreams. I'm so excited to talk to you about this next topic. Let's get started. Okay, welcome back to another podcast episode. This one is all about FAQs that I receive in person in the studio. So if you have questions on bridal alterations, specifics about our services, you can go to our website. We have an FAQ page on there, as well as emailing us with any questions that you have. This episode specifically is just about the just for fun questions that I get while the bride's changing and the mom is asking me questions, or while I'm painting her dress, asking questions. Just the frequently asked questions that I answer and receive all the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through them one by one. So this is all just for fun. Okay, so the biggest one I get, you enter into this studio. In fact, I'm going to show you around a little bit if you're watching on YouTube. You enter through the front door, and people are often really wondering where they are because this is just kind of an unusual situation. I totally get it. So the question I get asked a lot, which you're right, was this a garage before? Bingo, previous homeowners, Merlin and Mary, built this garage in 1998 as an extra wide, extra deep, extra tall, 2-story, 3-car garage. You can only imagine my excitement seeing this one listed on Zillow in 2022. We bought this house specifically for the garage, but of course I also love the property and the house as well. We made a few tweaks to it in 2024 to design it into the most beautiful private bridal studio where I could let my life's dreams run wild. On the main floor, we have 2 fitting rooms, a coffee bar, a bathroom, an extra vanity sink, storage room, and a large enough living space to occasionally host photo shoots and workshops. I really don't need this big of a space here, but I did this so that we are able to use this open space for photo shoots, specifically designed it to put in a white paper backdrop. So it's large enough for that, and then for the photographer to stand far away, as well as just hosting workshops and whatever else we want to do. Let me tell you, this space has been a journey of a lifetime. Everything I've ever worked for in my entire life was for this space in mind and is a living image of all of my dreams coming true. Next question I get. Oh, so this is new. Yep. Before this, I worked out of my husband and I's cute little adorable ranch house in Novi, and I missed that so much. It was so sweet and cozy. But my business was taking over the entire house, so we needed to move for more space. Before that, I worked humbly out of my parents' basement. They made me a little office room down there while they were finishing their basement in 2014-ish. If you are a bride listening to this that had alterations done with me in my parents' basement, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. And I am so sorry if that felt cringy. We all have to start from somewhere, right? But it was so great. My parents are amazing for giving me that space. So here we are now, final location. I am never moving. That's the plan, at least. Another one people say all the time, oh my gosh, this studio is so cute. Did you design it yourself? Thanks. I realize it's quite shocking when you walk in the door. You're like, where the heck am I? This is so fun. This is so bridal. This is so girly. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love it too. We have so much fun in here. The design style mostly stemmed from a bridal Sarah Colasified version of 1950s couture Paris. Boy, would I have loved to have been alive for that. So I brought it to the present into the wonderful Metro Detroit, Michigan. Not many of this kind left in the world, let alone in the US. I did want to name this the Sarah Colas Couture Atelier as a more rightful name. However, I know it is hard to pronounce. So studio is a much better sounding word for that. My unrealistic dream job would have been working directly for Christian Dior himself. Christian Dior is certainly my favorite brand of all time, specifically in the time that he actually owned it. I did do all of my design work in here in the studio, all while in the process of moving, running my business full-time, planning my sister's wedding, all at the same time. So certainly decision fatigue was maxed out. So I understand that feeling when you brides come walking in. First of all, I mean, I've been married before. I know that decision fatigue is a real thing, but it really, really, really was real when I was building this studio space. So there's a lot of decisions to be made, but I feel like I made those decisions quickly and I'm really happy with how it turned out. In another life, I would have loved to have been an architect and or interior designer, but there's still time, right? Okay, next one. Aw, I love the molding details. Me too, girl. Me too. Okay, so I'm gonna turn, if you're on YouTube, you can kind of see this. Okay, kind of hard to see on video, but you'll totally see it when you come to the studio. There is this molding and kind of like this rectangle shape up here with these little pieces on either side. Okay, so story time. My husband and I visited Paris right before we started construction on the studio, and I was far too busy with work to get my nails done before our trip. Our hotel was right next to an adorable Parisian nail salon. Ladies, I cannot recommend this enough. Get your nails done in Paris and cringe when they laugh at you asking for a French manicure. I don't even know what you're supposed to say. They were laughing so hard. But anyway, I'm going to show you, all of you on YouTube watching here, a picture on my phone of this exact molding in that Paris salon. Okay, so here's that photo. What we're looking at is the molding right here. See that molding? Okay, that's me getting my nails done. I was staring at that wall for like 2 hours. And after we left the nail salon, I told him, please tell me you took a photo of me while I was in there. And thank God he did. That's kind of unusual for him to do. But I was referencing that photo so many times while building the studio because it just nailed the molding design for the studio. I thought it was a nice little molding detail that was a little bit feminine and just different. Leads me to my next question. Did your husband help with constructing the studio? I wish, but no, he does not find much enjoyment in construction projects. We hired our main contractor, Jamil, with MMC Remodeling based in Novi. He was fantastic and went along with all my unusual ideas and desires and hit it out of the park. So thank you so much, Jamil. My dad, Don Colas, helped with all the electrical work along with some of his friends. My dad also helped with various small projects throughout. I actually have a YouTube video showing a glimpse of the unfinished process if you ever want to check it out. People really love that video, so you can just go to my YouTube page and try to find it. Next question, what's upstairs? So typically, if you're coming in for bridal alterations, there's really no need for you to be coming upstairs. Typically, you stay on the main floor. Whenever I get asked that question, it's like, well, I need to get the sewing work done somewhere, right? I don't know what it is, but people always think sewing doesn't take up that much space, but it does. So upstairs, we have an additional VIP fitting room. This is kind of messy right now. We're building a dress form in here right now. This couch I got in an estate sale that my best friend's little sister that I grew up with happened to buy that house that estate sale was from in Northville. So kind of fun story there, but I'm obsessed with that couch. And then we also have our sewing area for Erin. This is where Erin sews. She's got that heavy duty industrial sewing machine there, which has a fun backstory. That sewing machine was actually in the David's Bridal that her and I worked at during our summers of college. So it's a very full circle moment. Someday I want to do a very full and complete YouTube video, just sharing the whole studio space and giving you a very full, complete tour. So if you're listening to this podcast episode in a few months, hopefully I will have a YouTube video up about that. So maybe search for it. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you a quick glimpse. We've got our ironing area right here. Lots of great windows everywhere up here. It's amazing. I have always sewn in the basement before this. So I said my final sewing destination needs to have a really awesome view. To my left, I have lots of dress storage here for all the dresses that we're actually working on. Throughout the studio, I have different areas of dresses on display. This one happens to be my sister's maid of honor dress for my wedding. Got some photos next to it. So I kind of swap these out a lot throughout the whole studio. Basically, if you see anything on the dress form, I most likely made it from scratch. Okay, so this is my sewing area. Love this space, love that window. It is so gorgeous all times of the year. I get to see so much wildlife out there, deer and turkey, and there's a gopher that sometimes comes by if you're lucky and see it. It is absolutely amazing. I love sewing here and looking out the window. Then behind me, we have the cutting area right here, big cutting table. You'll see that new embroidery machine that we have. I am obsessed with it. Bridal and embroidery go hand in hand. So it's been amazing to personalize things for brides. I've got some fabric storage in there. That's all the white fabric. And then that one over there is all of the colored fabric. They're just these little like tiny storage alcoves. The next common question I get is, are you getting work done upstairs? Because people often hear this really loud drilling noise. No, I am not doing any construction projects right now and don't want to. That noise is coming from this industrial sewing machine. It's very old, very loud, and it is a workhorse. It is amazing. Erin and I both have TVs near our sewing machines, and if we have just a fun sewing day, we like to link up Disney movies together. It is the best. I have the best job ever. Okay, next question I get. Wow, I love the chandelier. Where did you get it? Anthropologie. Next one is, wow, I love that gigantic mirror. Where did you get it?
Yep, anthropology. Okay, this video is not doing this justice, but the bathroom area is so stinking cute. And people often like to tell me that after they use it, which is so fun. Yep, it's as girly as can be, just the way I like it. Be sure to look up and notice the bow-themed crown molding when you're in there. This is a tight area. I'm trying to show you. That's the outdoor vanity area. Next one, a lot of people ask about paint colors. This is Sherwin-Williams Dover White, and the whole upstairs was alabaster. The fireplace is Bare New Day. I let Jamil pick that out, our contractor, because I had decision fatigue, and I said, just pick a color. Thank you. And then this fitting room in here is really fun. This is like my secondary fitting room, often used for pickup appointments and non-bridal appointments. This room, a lot of you may already know, was very much inspired by my mom. She's very creative and I just love her so much. She loves yellow tulips. So I had this custom wallpaper made and then had it applied in here with a nice yellow on the bottom. This is the very fun fitting room. And then the other fitting room, I really want to keep more whites just to be more bridal, but I do want to jazz it up a little bit as time goes on. Okay, the floors in here are just a very nice neutral light color. I get asked about that a lot, and I'm really curious how many people actually used it in their homes after telling them the details. So this flooring is from Floor Source. You're gonna talk to Ray. It is called True Core Prime 8mm plank natural oak. And I have some dimensions here, 8.98 by 72. Okay, and that's Trucor, Trucor. Next question. What is your favorite Spanx brand? I do not have one. I am actually anti-Spanx with all things wedding dresses, believe it or not, as they tend to cause more problems than they help. But I have seen other girls really enjoy Skims and Honey Love. I do like the Boombas brand, though, for some corset-style wedding dresses for some bust support. I do have a coupon code, Sarah Colas 10 for 10% off. And for those very tight hip hugging type of dresses that like show every type of underwear, look up the Shark Tank brand called Stringies, Stringyys. Okay, so people often come up to the windows in my studio and just kind of look around while the bride's changing just for something to do. People are always saying, wow, I love your backyard. Girl, me too. It is amazing. I get to see lots of wildlife out there, as I said before, and get to watch their babies grow up in the spring. It is so fun. It's just like a very like in the woods park type of feeling, which I love. Next question. You go to weddings too? Yeah, sometimes it's called my day of styling service, which includes me being there at your wedding, starting in the morning, where I professionally steam your gown, veil, do any little sewing fixes I see that need to be done. I talk to your girls about how to bustle it, if not me bustling it myself, which is great to take that load off the bridesmaids. Any last minute adjustments, emergency fixes that may arise, I am the girl to be there. I will help you with any dress emergencies that can possibly happen and just general styling support. I ensure your gown looks flawless from ceremony to reception. People often ask, do I really need that service? There's a lot that goes into weddings, right? You don't need this service. You really don't, but it's certainly nice to have if you're able to budget for it. I have received really good feedback from brides that I help. I essentially become your personal assistant for the whole day as well. So this is beyond what a coordinator would do that helps coordinate the entire wedding. I am just there as a point person for you and for all things dress related. So it just gives you peace of mind that everything in regards to clothing that day will go nice and smoothly. Next question. So you don't do appointments on the weekends? Nope, I do not do fitting appointments on the weekends. We are very strict on that as we work weddings on the weekends. And if I'm really lucky, I only do sewing work on Sundays as a catch-up day. As with many entrepreneurs, we make our own schedules by trading the 9 to 5 to work 24/7. So it's not that I don't work on the weekends, I just don't do fitting appointments on the weekends. Do you only do bridal? Nope, I will alter anything in the dress category. So mother the bride and mother the groom dresses, flower girls, bridesmaids, the bride's bridal shower dress, rehearsal dress, the list goes on. Anything in the dress category. You can just bring these dresses and or the additional people that go with them with you to your first bridal alterations appointment. You don't even need to tell us in advance. They can just show up. You can just bring additional dresses, no problem. I strongly urge you to try really hard to be on time if you are doing that, just to like utilize the full appointment time slot. Just show up with them and make sure that everyone has their shoes for all of the outfits. For custom dresses, however, we pretty much only do custom bridal and mother's gowns, but are totally open to conversations about others. Do you do men's tailoring? No. I do not have all the proper equipment to do menswear quickly. And to be honest, I really don't want to. girl power, women's tailoring. Another story though, reach out if you have questions. Another frequently asked question, did you alter your own wedding dress? Girl, I made it from scratch. Took 415 and a quarter hours to make. Our wedding was June 8th, 2019. I have three sisters, one older and two younger. The two younger ones, Angela and Melissa, recently also got married in 2025 and 2024, one right after the other. I did make all of their dresses as well as their bridal wardrobe pieces. You may have seen me post about them, and I have several blog posts all about that, so check it out on the website. Also, if you were in here waiting for a fitting or you're sitting in the living room area of the studio, I have all these little books just about all these various custom dresses that I've made throughout the years. They're just a little good synopsis of everything. This book in particular is all about me making my wedding dress. So if you want to look at it, look for this book in the studio. I just so happen to have a larger version of that one as well. So I've actually got two floating around. But this one is basically a visual diary of making my entire wedding dress. Oh, it was craziness. I had more time back then. Next question, how did you meet your husband? I'm often asking you ladies how you met your fiancés because the stories are so good. But sometimes you come back at me and said, well, how did you meet your guy? And so I will tell you, we were high school sweethearts. He asked me to the homecoming dance when we were 15 years old, beginning of sophomore year of high school, and the rest is history. We met at Nova High School, and at first I thought I would be lucky if we lasted 2 weeks. That would be so much fun. It would be a fun couple weeks, and then you'd break up with me. Well, I was wrong. We never broke up. We dated for a solid 10 years by the time we got married. My best marriage advice is to marry your best friend, and it should be easy. Next question, how long have you been in business? I get that one a lot. Since 2012, but I have been sewing my whole life. While building my business on the side, I actually worked 6.5 years in the auto industry as a trim engineer. Can you believe that? I was an engineer. So crazy. It was a really wild ride. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a whole nother world. I felt like Hannah Montana working at my fun girly business after hours and then going to my corporate, really businessy 9 to 5 in the auto industry as an engineer. Best of both worlds. They are so similar, but completely different. And in 2012, I actually started my business with high schooler t-shirt quilts. And it was quite successful. I used to ride my bike around the different Novi neighborhoods, putting flyers in houses' mailbox that had senior yard signs on their yard. Cringy, but so cute. Humble beginnings. I had to drop that though when getting more into bridal because I truly love that more. And I also learned there are only 24 hours in a day. So something had to give. Next thing people can sometimes bring up is just the fact that COVID must have been just so awful for the wedding industry. People, it was so awful. It was so sad. I get so sad thinking about all the brides that were deprived of these incredible experiences that most people get to experience and be excited for. Be thankful for what you have. It truly was a very sad time. And if you're a COVID bride listening to this, I really hope you get your big day someday. Please have like a 10-year anniversary or 5 years, whatever. Just do something to get that experience someday. I feel really, really bad. Thank God those times are past us. Next question I get a lot, this shelving unit thing is right outside of the fitting room. So people are often just kind of browsing this. And people often ask, what are these little dresses here? These are doll dresses. I do sell these made from the extra fabric from your wedding dress or your mom's wedding dress or whoever. These ones in particular are just examples of mine and my sister's wedding dress. So this one, it's really fun to just have your wedding dress on display without having the full-blown thing. So this one matches my Madeline doll. It is an exact replica of my wedding dress. This one is a replica of Angela's wedding dress. My sister, she has this little, not a doll, but like a stuffed animal elephant, and it's very bottom heavy. Even has a little detachable train that she had. I think that's so funny. And then my sister Melissa's wedding dress, so stinging cute. She has a teddy bear named Teddy. Sometimes I just randomly get people, especially in the end, just like giving me a hug and just having a really awesome moment, just reminiscing on how incredible this experience was for them and for myself as well. I truly love all of my brides. And sometimes I hear people say, I love supporting small businesses. People, thank you. All caps, thank you so much. I was a cheerleader growing up, and the cheerleader energy supporting the female small business community is insane. And I'm so proud to be a part of it. I like to support local small businesses in my own community So thank you, thank you. I do have to say, just from an entrepreneur perspective, I have a lot of people to thank. A big one being Sally Ogden with the Brim. She taught me so much of what I know as an entrepreneur, far beyond what my MBA could have taught me. I do have an MBA, Bachelor of Arts degree from Michigan State University as well. Also, random side note, since I'm showing this view behind me here, this drawing here was drawn by my mom in high school. If you look up close, it is insane. It is a really good piece of art. I'm often doing fittings and just like having a good time, right? And people say, you must see a lot of dresses. Ladies, I do. I do have the best job in the entire world. I'm very biased, but like seriously, this is so much fun. Literally beyond my 6-year-old Sarah's wildest dreams. Not only do I get to do my favorite hobby in the entire world, which is sewing, but I also get to play dress up all day, every day. It is so much fun. I feel like I first meet a bride and I get to see her in her dress immediately, and I can already tell what kind of vibe she has just based off the dress she picked out. It is so fun. And no, I do not see any ugly wedding dresses. It's so funny people ask me that. Do you see any ugly wedding dresses? No, there is no such thing. Even the 80s, 1980s giant poof dresses, I love and embrace so much. There is never a dull moment here. It is so fun. Okay, here's one that doesn't get asked super often, but I'm just gonna throw it in here. People say they love my engagement ring. Me too, girl. Thank you. He picked it out all on his own. I bet you couldn't guess. It is the 2017 Halo era. The unique part about it is that it's rose gold, which also matches my skin tone very well, and it is unique. I love it so much. Okay, quick backstory on this ring. Since my husband and I started dating so young, I did something so silly when I first got my Pinterest account right after high school. And ladies in general, we just stumble upon rings real quick when we get into Pinterest, right? So I screenshot and sent him a few. This is right after we graduated high school. I screenshot and sent him a few ring pictures. And I knew I was way too young and had absolutely no intentions whatsoever about getting married anytime soon. But, you know, a girl's got a Pinterest. So anyway, I sent him 3 photos of 3 different rings. And I also texted him right after, do not respond to this. And he didn't. We never talked about it. But he proposed years later with one of those rings. He said he just did not like the other 2 options. So he just went with the third. LOL. Anyway, okay, next question. This one's kind of sour, guys. I don't know how I feel about it. Would you ever want to be on Project Runway? Yes. I've been dreaming of that since I was a little girl. I have applied, but for some reason, I am just not what they're looking for. I think they're looking for something slightly more exotic and more character personalities made for TV. I don't know, maybe I'm too boring. They're not really looking for a young suburban blonde girl from Metro Detroit. It's just not the vibe. Anyway, if you have any hookups, let me know. Okay, next question. Do you work all by yourself or who works with you? Well, I have a fantastic team helping me behind the scenes. I do a lot of the customer interface with the brides, like that's my main job, but there is a whole slew of people that are helping me be where I am. So if you have sent emails back and forth with us, it was probably with Abby Riley responding to you. She works remote in Oklahoma. Abigail Frank helps with blogs, social media, and other creative projects. She is also remote from Georgia. Haley with Espresso Podcast Productions. Cannot recommend her enough. She's editing my podcast as we speak here. Helps with all editing of the podcast, and she does a great job. This podcast, I'm sure you already know, is called Dressing Up with Sarah Colas. Erin Connor is my in-person person helping with all things sewing. Between her and I, your bridal alterations are very well taken care of. And she is my right-hand woman for really anything I need spur of the moment in the studio. She is great. And I also love having her just as backup help if I, God forbid, got in a car accident or am super, super sick and I can't help a bride a particular day. So it's great to have that backup, but I am so thankful to have Erin in my life. My accountant sister, Angela, also helps with accounting. My husband, Billy, is IT, handyman, finance, mentor, therapist, and landscaping. He's been trying to quit for years, but I keep rejecting his request. My mom is the first person I go to if I have a design-related question, as well as my Instagram stories. You ladies are sometimes voting. I love it so much. And my dad is the unappointed construction project manager, and he gets antsy if he doesn't have a project to work on, but I try to simmer it down as best I can. The org chart is still up for debate. Something I get asked a lot. You must have a lot of crazy stories. Ladies, I do. Weddings can bring out the best and the worst in people. It's just a very emotional, stressful time. Being a bride, being a bride's family member or friend, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. And I have so much sympathy for you. I learned firsthand myself, being engaged, being a bride is really, really difficult for so many reasons. Felt it myself. I have a lot of sympathy for you. I love all my brides so much. I protect their precious hearts with my life. I am here for you. I am doing fittings with you. I'm helping you fit your dress. I'm helping you make decisions on what you need done to fit your dress. Like, let's talk about your struggles right now. What are we working on with wedding planning? Do you need help with anything? Do you need vendor recommendations? How can I be here for you? Or just therapy. I'm good at that too. Which I totally don't mind. It's really fun. My number one goal every day and my life's purpose is to help women feel beautiful and confident in their bridal gown, no matter what. Truly, at the end of the day, that's all I care about. If I can play a small part in them enjoying their engagement time, just a small fraction more, boy, am I honored. Thank you so much to all of my brides and their families, past, present, and future. You are the best. Sometimes I just randomly get asked, are you really busy right now? Depends on the time of year. Winter, I am very slow and very relaxed. But especially in June and the fall, I am swamped and probably sleep deprived, yet still incredibly loving my job day in and day out, playing dress up and sewing frilly dresses. What a dream, but it is an extremely seasonal job. So if you're someone that just got married and you're like, I want to work in the bridal industry, just remember it is extremely seasonal, extremely seasonal. We are super, super, super busy, and then we're super, super, super slow. Okay, this is like hot topic, but I realize everyone's intent is very, very kind. I get asked, do you have kids? No, but I have two cats, Norma and Oscar. No kids, at least for right now by choice, but maybe someday. Right now, I'm just loving my job way too much. I don't feel rushed. How many brides do you work with? Well, it depends on the time of year. Could be just a small handful in the winter, just like a couple dresses sprinkled on their rack, or a whole long, full, tightly packed rack of dresses in the fall. Next one, do you do custom dresses? Absolutely. I only take a max of 5 per year, as they are extremely big projects, but they are so much fun. I balance the rest of our work with a lot of bridal alterations and other smaller projects that are super fun. So I genuinely really enjoy alterations. I love, love, love making custom dresses and all the things, but bridal alterations is the bread and butter. And I really, really enjoy it because I get to meet a lot of people, work with a lot of different dresses. And then of course, there is a whole slew of other services and products that we offer as well. But those are the top two. Okay, ladies, you already know this, unless you're watching on YouTube. Do you have a podcast? Yes, it is the Dressing Up with Sarah Colas podcast. Check it out. On the podcast, we talk a lot about bridal and wedding industry content, but also just fashion in general. So I kind of like to hit both worlds. Check it out. We often like to interview brides that we have worked with in the past, industry experts, and just general wonderful fashionistas out there. So let us know if you would like to be on the podcast. You can even tell me in person at one of your bridal alterations fitting. You can just be like, by the way, I want to be on the podcast. I'm going to put you on the list so I can make sure that we send you an email, especially in the off season when it really kicks up, to be on the podcast. Okay, here's another one. You have a magazine? Oh my goodness. I know, I know. I must really not like sleeping. Ladies, I live and breathe all things bridal, dresses, sewing, fashion. My brain does not turn off on these subjects. It is truly my life's purpose, and I am obsessed. So to add to the fun and display of a lot of work that I do, I like to make these little magazines. I've been averaging like 2 magazines a year. It's not a lot. But if you're in the studio, these are free. I often put some like by the door. I have a stack right now. If you just see these floating around the studio, also this is like our latest edition here. If you just see these floating around the studio, just know that they're free and you can take them home. But if you are not in the studio, I can certainly mail one to you. Or if you're like a bride we already worked with and you just want the next issue, you can just buy it straight off of our website and I will mail you one. How do I send you photos after the wedding? Email is amazing. hello@sarahcolas.com. Please also give us your photographer's name, your new last name that you want represented, and just say, I give you permission to post these. Okay, if you do give us that permission. But please don't ever, ever, ever think that we do not want to see your wedding photos. We really, really do. I get really excited to go through your wedding photos because I spend so much time with you at these fittings. I really want to hear how everything turned out, and the photos are amazing. So if you do give us permission, we would love to post those, maybe even feature them in the magazine, post them on social media, whatever you allow us to do. Even if it's a year past your wedding and you still haven't sent us wedding photos, like we don't care. It's totally okay. We would love to see them. It's never too late. Okay, next question/statement. You went to New York Fashion Week? Girl, I did. February 2022, I showed a couture gown collection, and let me tell you, It was just like the movies. It was amazing. The backstage energy was everything I ever lived for. I have this book. I also have a smaller version on the coffee table or just floating around the studio. So if you want to check this out, it was so much fun. Which leads me to the next question. When are you moving to New York? Ladies, I am not moving to New York. I've never said I wanted to move to New York. I love visiting New York. I love visiting so much, but I would never want to live there. I could never afford what I do here over there. Growing up, a lot of friends and family assumed I would end up there for the fashion scene, but my goodness, it is cutthroat there. And I love the bridal industry so much more than the general fashion industry anyway. And there are plenty of brides in Michigan and the Midwest. I like to think of Michigan as a very homey state. So even the brides that no longer live here very often come back to get married here because their family and their parents are still here. So I am very lucky to be able to help brides all across the country and beyond. I actually made a custom gown for a bride in England once that actually she got married in South Africa. It's a wild story. But anyway, Michigander for life. Okay, one more thing, bouncing back to New York Fashion Week. Something that I really learned from doing New York Fashion Week is, oh God, everyone that works in New York Fashion Week is so nice. Like everyone is so amazing. The energy is absolutely insane. Like girl power to the max. I loved it. But anyway, everyone I met between the models, hair and makeup, the production staff, photographers, videographers, the help backstage, every single person I met, I did not find one person that actually lived in New York City. Isn't that crazy? So everyone else, just like myself, flew in for Fashion Week. Okay. So I'm not missing out on anything. I can fly in too. It's a quick flight. Anyway, next question. Do you make all your own clothes? I wish. I do make all of my own dresses specifically for sure, but also some other clothes sprinkled in. If I had all the time in the world, I would make all of my own clothes, but there is just not enough time. I supplement with a lot of vintage and secondhand clothing though. Fun fact, this is crazy. Listen up, okay? If you're zoning out, listen up. This is kind of crazy. I have not bought fast fashion clothing since March of 2023. And I hope at any moment that you're listening to this, I have kept up with it. Proud of it. And I am going to keep my streak. I just know far too much about the dark side of the fashion industry, overconsumption. Don't get me started. Anyway, I am a proud, slow fashion fashionista. Where do you store all of your own dresses? Where do I store all of my own dresses? Oh, in my house and in every closet with an additional big hanging rack full of dresses in our extra bedroom. Believe it or not, I do outfit repeat, but I will also try and turn any social event into a dress up kind of event. I would far rather be way too overdressed than underdressed, and I encourage you to join me. Okay, this question I love getting, guys. This is a good question. You know how to sew, but you look so young. Thank you. Ladies and gents, may these comments never leave me. I am so flattered. But I get your point. I may not be the stereotype. I totally get that. But as of today, I have been sewing for, oh goodness, well over 2 decades. But yeah, I have a lot of sewing experience. Even though I look young, I started so young. Leads me to the next and final question that I get all the time. I answer this question day in and day out. It is, how did you learn how to sew? Not my mother, as many may assume. My mom is extremely crafty. She was the absolute best Girl Scout troop leader and needlepoint guru, kids party planning extraordinaire. And if you are a super close friend of hers, you may receive her adorable handmade Valentine's cards in the mail. She is so creative, so crafty, so artsy. She was actually an art teacher too before I was born. She was a fourth grade teacher and elementary school art teacher. So she is super crafty and creative, and I definitely got that side from her. But my sewing skills first came from my Aunt Diane. She made us all what I called Aunt Diane quilts growing up. And I was special enough that she even made me a few pajama sets and dresses and other things. I remember at a very young age getting up the courage to ask Aunt Diane to teach me how to sew. And I hope I'm remembering everything correctly. So Aunt Diane, if this is off, I apologize. But from my memory, from a very young child, I asked you to teach me how to sew, but you said that my fingers weren't fully developed yet, and we might have to wait a little bit until I get a little bit older. And I consciously remember looking down at my hands and being so disappointed in them. I'm like, why aren't you growing yet? I need you to grow quicker. Little did I know that these things would be my biggest piece of equipment later in life. It has been amazing. But anyway, so I proved it to her by buying a how to sew book from the toy store. It's actually this right here if you're looking on YouTube. I bought this how to sew book from a toy store. and handmade her this strawberry shaped pincushion as a gift. I had other motives because I wanted to prove to her my worth, that she could teach me more, and I was ready. She taught me how to use the sewing machine with making doll clothes for my Madeline doll. Her and I would have sewing camps in the summer on my parents' dining room table. And from there, I was completely and totally hooked. And my parents never got their dining room back for 2 decades. And then I learned a lot on my own. I think everyone that sews, you just have to practice a lot on your own in order to get really good. And I took all the kids' classes and camps that you could locally growing up. My parents did a really good job of not teaching me how to sew, but getting me to the people that could teach me more. And one example would be my mom went to Joann Fabrics once with a bunch of dresses that I had made, trying to prove to them that I should be allowed to sign up for the adult sewing classes because I was getting very advanced. And they said you had to be 18. And my mom was practically fighting with the lady that was telling her these rules. But behind her was Miss Vicky that was listening in. And after that conversation was done, Vicky came up to her, complete and total strangers, but she said, hey, like maybe I could teach your daughter how to sew. So Vicky became my private sewing tutor. And it was really fun. I loved going to her place. I would pack up all my sewing stuff and my sewing machine in a nice carrier. And I would go to Vicky's house and we would have a whole day of sewing together and she'd teach me some really amazing things. So Vicky, thank you so much. I hope you're listening to this, but she taught me a lot about the quality required when sewing clothing. And she still pushes me to this day. I see her at least once a year and it's really fun to catch up with her. So I've had a lot of people that have helped me throughout the years and I never want to stop learning. I still go to sewing expos and classes and like to learn about different things. So I never want to believe I know everything. I know there's always more to learn out there. That was a long-winded version of the answer to that question. I usually keep it a little shorter in person, but here you are listening on the podcast. So there you have it. There's all the frequently asked questions I get asked in person. I'm sure there will be more as the years go on. I don't mind if you ask me these questions again in person. I answer them all the time. It is really fun. I really, really love what I do. And I realize that what I do is very unique and people don't understand it. And I am here to help you understand it a little bit. And weddings are scary. You only wear a wedding dress one time in your entire life. And I am here to help guide you through the process. So as always, if you have any questions on anything, you can email us at any time. Anyway, check out our Instagram page, Sarah Colas Designs, if you have not already. Website is sarahcolas.com. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you next time. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode has allowed you to approach the world with greater confidence in your own personal style. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out through email or the inquiry form on the website. I hope you are all ready to go and get dressed up. I look forward to sharing more dressing up tips with you in future episodes. Thanks so much.